Lynn, Liz, and Mary, and all the Cheney family, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate this chance to say a few words about a man I was proud to call my vice president and my friend. Though not a happy assignment, I do consider it an easy one because there was so much to like and admire about Dick Cheney. Dick was a stoical man, and I doubt he left his life with any complaints about the time given to him or its end. He was also a grateful man, grateful above all for 3 loyal, loving women who shared in his journey. As I quickly discovered in 2000, when you choose one Cheney, you get 4. His busy and purposeful life was an adventure they experienced together. In a family so close, you dread the day when the circle is broken. Lynn and the girls, Heather, Phil, and all the grandchildren, he sure loved you all, and he was proud of his family. I hope it helps to know that many people in this country share your sense of loss, and we're here today as your friends. 25 years ago, I had a big choice to make, a big job to fill. I want to know all my options, so I enlisted the help of a distinguished former White House Chief of Staff and Secretary of Defense to lead my search for running mate. Dick Cheney and I went through the files name by name. We talked over the various qualities I was looking for in a vice president: preparedness, mature judgment, rectitude, and loyalty. Above all, I wanted someone with the ability to step into the presidency without getting distracted by the ambition to seek it. After weeks of these meetings, I began to have a thought I could not shake. I realized the best choice for the vice president was the man sitting right in front of me, and I told him that. At such a moment, most in this position would have jumped at the chance, but Dick stayed detached, and he analyzed it. Before I made my decision, he insisted on giving me a complete rundown of all the reasons I should not choose him. He also heard one of my top advisors was against the choice, so Dick invited him to make the case. As he did so, he sat there unfazed and expressionless. In the end, I trusted my judgment. I remember my dad's words when I told him what I was planning. He said, "Son, you couldn't pick a better man." The way this all unfolded followed a pattern in Dick Cheney's life. Summing up his career a few years ago, he said, "A few breaks came my way, and one job always led to another, in a life that's taken me far to more places than I ever expected." That was Dick's typically understated version of events, but there's a little more to the story. His abilities were self-evident without need of calculation or self-promotion. His talent and restraint exceeded his ego. Even before the Cheney name reached the national stage, people always saw something in the man, solid, reliable, and rare.
The funeral for former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney was held on Thursday, November 20, 2025, at the Washington National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Democrats and Republicans have come together to mourn former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney at his funeral in Washington, D.C. Cheney, who served under President George W. Bush from 2001 and 2009, died from complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease in early November. He was 84. Bush, a Republican, said in his eulogy, "In a profession that attracts talkers, he was a thinker and a listener." Former President Joe Biden, a Democrat, also attended. Cheney was one of the most powerful vice presidents in history, a key architect of Bush's war on terror after the September 11 terrorist attacks, and an early advocate of the invasion of Iraq. In Thursday's ceremony at Washington National Cathedral, Bush revealed that during the difficult 2004 re-election campaign, Cheney had offered to step off the ticket. "I arrived at the conclusion they do not come any better than Dick Cheney," Bush told mourners. He said Cheney was everything a president should expect as a second in command. In recent years, Cheney found himself out of favor in the Republican Party after he condemned President Donald Trump's refusal to accept the result of the 2020 election. Trump was also at loggerheads with Cheney's daughter, former Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney. His daughter paid tribute to him on Thursday, recalling her father's legacy. He knew the bonds of party must always yield to the single bond we share as Americans. She said, "For him, a choice between defense of the Constitution and defense of your political party was no choice at all." In last year's White House election, both Cheneys endorsed the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris. Harris was at the funeral, along with other former U.S. Vice Presidents Mike Pence and Al Gore. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance did not attend. Neither did former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, both Democrats. Neither did former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, both Democrats.
And let me just say